Hello everyone and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. Luna traps Hayes, the problem of jealous Ridge. When Luna Nozawa gives her brother a present, she is setting up a Hayes Finnegan trap. Here's what viewers might anticipate from jealous Ridge Forrester's problem. Nick Marone returns to kick off BNB's weekly preview, and he's going to blow Brooke Logan away. Brooke will be curious and appreciate meeting up with Nick when he unexpectedly reappears. Nick is eager to get back into a good rhythm with his ex-lover and will insist that some things never change. Nick will soon present Brooke with another route to love since Ridge isn't being the committed man she deserves. Since Nick is Ridge's biological half-brother and Brooke's ex, their connection has several complexities. For this reason, Ridge will inform Taylor Hayes that he has never liked and never will. Regarding Steffy Forrester, she will discuss with Taylor Liam Spencer's courage and the fact that, despite his terminal illness, he isn't even considering himself. Taylor will understand that she is referring to Luna when Steffy points out that Liam is considering protecting them all instead. Taylor will continue to worry about what Luna might do next, but Steffy might argue that she believes John Finnegan and his assurances that their family would be safe. But Luna has a cunning scheme that will undoubtedly cause problems. Luna will make a bold step and set up a trap that will cause havoc after spying on Steffy and Hayes from a distance. Luna will confront Hayes outside by himself, start a conversation, and present him with a surprise present. "You mean Hayes?" In the weekly promo for BNB, Luna states, "I have something for you." Luna will put on a smile and attempt to establish a quick connection with Hayes, who will appear rather perplexed by the entire circumstance. We'll keep you updated as Luna seeks retribution against Steffy, since this should pave the way for her to kidnap Hayes. In the opulent but tension-filled world of Los Angeles' elite, where glitz and betrayal walk hand in hand, the fragile balance of the Forrester family begins to unravel at an alarming pace as Luna Nozawa, often underestimated and dangerously clever, emerges as a force not to be ignored, a woman fueled by vengeance, strategy, and an intimate knowledge of her adversaries. Luna, whose enigmatic demeanor masks a seething reservoir of resentment, has long watched the Forrester family from the shadows, her calm exterior belied by the storm brewing within her as memories of betrayals, manipulations, and heartbreaks at the hands of Steffy Forrester echo louder in her mind. This time, she's not seeking closure or justice, she's seeking payback. But it isn't Steffy she targets directly. No, Luna has devised something more cruel, more theatrical. Her trap centers on Hayes Finnegan, the young, unsuspecting son of John Finnegan and Steffy Forrester, a symbol of their perfect family and Luna's key to bringing their world crashing down. When Luna learns that Hayes will be alone briefly during a Forrester Foundation charity event at the Cliff House, she seizes the opportunity. She lingers in the shadows, her eyes sharp and focused as she spies on Steffy kissing Hayes on the forehead and whispering words of love before heading back inside. Luna emerges from the nearby brush with the calculated calm of someone who has rehearsed every second of this moment. "Hayes, right? I have something for you," she says with a warm smile that masks her true intentions. Hayes, confused but curious, eyes the small box in her hands, wrapped perfectly in silver paper, like a scene from a fairy tale, before Luna crouches and offers it to him. "Your mom said I could give this to you." "It's a surprise," she says, her voice sugar-coated but eerily void of sincerity. He hesitates, then reaches for it, and in that moment, Luna's plan is set into motion. Elsewhere, Ridge Forrester is distracted, not by intuition or parental instinct, but by old ghosts returning from the past, namely Nick Marone, whose sudden reappearance at Brooke Logan's side sends Ridge spiraling into jealousy. Brooke, ever radiant and nostalgic, welcomes Nick's return with open arms, touched by his unwavering charm and effortless ability to rekindle the flames of old romance. "Some things never change," Nick says with a wink that sends a flutter through Brooke's heart, and a thunderclap through Ridge's. Ridge watches, jaw clenched, as Nick weaves his way back into Brooke's life, every laugh they share another dagger in his pride. While Ridge fumes, he confides in Taylor Hayes, trying to mask his insecurities with indignation. "I don't like the guy," Ridge snaps. "And I never will." Taylor, more perceptive than Ridge realizes, senses the deeper layers. Ridge isn't just jealous of Nick, he's losing grip on his place in Brooke's heart and in his family. But Taylor's attention soon shifts when she learns from Steffi about Luna's proximity to the family again, and the growing unease surrounding her erratic behavior. Steffi tells her mother about Liam Spencer's bravery, how despite his fatal prognosis, he's focused on protecting them all, not from an illness or an accident, but from Luna. "She's not right, Mom," Steffi says with trembling certainty. "There's something dangerous in her now." Taylor frowns, knowing all too well what unresolved trauma can lead to. She urges caution, but Steffi insists Finn is on high alert, promising to protect their family no matter what. What they don't realize is that Luna is already one step ahead. Back at the beachside, Luna guides Hayes away with innocent small talk, telling him she's a friend of his father's, someone special from long ago. Hayes, young and trusting, walks beside her, the gift unopened in his small hands. As they move further from the house, Luna's tone shifts, gentle but firm, increasingly disconnected from reality. She tells Hayes about her childhood, about how people like his mother always got everything, while girls like her were left behind. "You're lucky," she says. But sometimes, the lucky ones don't understand how much they take from others. The words mean nothing to Hayes, but to Luna, they mean everything. She sees this moment as poetic justice, a way to make Steffi feel the helplessness she once felt. But just as she prepares to carry out the next part of her plan, possibly leading Hayes to a waiting car parked down the beach, someone watches. It's RJ Forrester, having arrived late to the event, catching sight of Luna from the cliff above. Instantly suspicious, RJ races down the hill, yelling Hayes' name, startling both Luna and the boy. Hayes drops the gift as Luna's face twists from serenity to fury. "You weren't supposed to be here," she hisses at RJ, grabbing Hayes' wrist instinctively. RJ doesn't back down. "Let him go, Luna," he shouts, stepping between them. Luna, trembling with rage and confusion, looks from RJ to Hayes, her grip loosening as realization dawns that her perfect plan has cracked. Sirens blare in the distance. RJ had called security before confronting her, and Luna's eyes well with frustrated tears. "They always protect her," she mutters, referring to Steffi. "No matter what she does." She releases Hayes, who runs straight to RJ. Within moments, Luna is apprehended, her carefully laid revenge unraveled by one unforeseen variable, loyalty. Meanwhile, news of the attempted abduction spreads like wildfire through the Forrester ranks. Finn arrives breathless, scooping Hayes into his arms, rage and relief coursing through him. Steffi, shaken to her core, holds her son tightly, thanking RJ over and over for being in the right place at the right time. But Ridge, standing beside them, is gripped by a different emotion, not just fear for his grandson, but shame. Shame that he was too distracted by his rivalry with Nick to sense that his family was under siege. Taylor confronts him quietly. "You were too busy being jealous," she says. "You didn't see what really mattered." Ridge doesn't argue. He watches as Brooke comforts Hayes, Nick by her side, and knows deep down that he's losing both his family and his grip on reality. Luna is taken into custody, and while many assume she'll face justice, there are whispers of a deeper psychological break, one that may place her in a facility instead of a cell. Her motives remain clouded, her actions inexcusable, but her pain, tragically real. In the days that follow, the Forrester family begins to heal, but scars remain. Hayes has nightmares of the encounter. Steffi can't sleep without checking the locks 3 times. Finn blames himself for letting his guard down. And Ridge, standing in the shadows of the hospital waiting room, watches as Brooke leans into Nick's shoulder for support and wonders if he's lost her forever. B&B closes the week on a stormy night, with the camera panning to Luna's face behind a reinforced hospital window. She stares blankly into the dark, lips moving silently, repeating Hayes' name like a broken mantra. Somewhere deep inside, Luna still believes she was right, that her pain justified her vengeance. But all that's left now is the aftermath. And for the Forresters, one truth becomes brutally clear: they may have survived Luna's trap, but the wounds she left behind will not heal easily. Is Hayes the true target, and does Luna finally attack? Slow motion of Luna Nozawa's downward spiral. Luna is growing increasingly insane and simply cannot avoid Finn, Steffi, and their family. However, according to teasers for Bold and Beautiful, Luna Nozawa's eventual approach might be far more ominous than we anticipated. Below are spoilers for what will happen next on the CBS soap opera. Luna is closed down once more. Luna Nozawa's last visit to her father's home was as unpleasant as the others. Finn assured his distressed daughter that they would never be romantically involved. However, suddenly things became strange. According to BNB teasers, Luna hasn't given her half-brother Hayes any thought. However, seeing Finn show the young child all the love and attention she has been pleading for undoubtedly made him a target. Will Luna alter her intentions in light of their recent altercation at Steffi's house? It's becoming obvious that Luna won't be able to communicate with her father, Finn. However, that implies that she will seek retribution. Snatching their kid Hayes is the perfect way to harm Steffi Forrester and Finn simultaneously. Luna takes another kidnap? As an experienced kidnapper, Luna Nozawa appears to have unrestricted access to Steffi's home. It won't be difficult for her to gain access to the young lad if she targets Hayes. Luna is unlikely to harm her half-brother because it's daytime TV. She might, however, take him somewhere and conceal him without telling anyone where he was. Do you believe that in order to exact revenge on her father and Steffi, Luna would change her targets and kidnap her brother Hayes? Is Hayes in danger? Luna Nozawa had always felt like a shadow, trailing behind the spotlight that seemed permanently fixed on her father's perfect new family. From the moment she learned the truth, that Dr. John Finn Finnegan was her biological father, she had held on to the hope that maybe, just maybe, something good would come from that devastating revelation. But over time, the hope had begun to rot inside her, transforming into bitterness. And that bitterness, once it took root, poisoned everything. Her visits to Finn's home had started as quiet pleas for connection, for acknowledgement. She wasn't asking for much, just a sliver of the affection he so readily gave to his other child, Hayes. But each time, she was met with a closed door and a heart that would not open. The contrast was too much to bear. Finn's tenderness when talking to Hayes, the way his voice softened, the way his eyes lit up when his son entered the room, it drove a knife deeper into Luna's already fragile psyche. Why did he get it all? Why was he worthy of love, when Luna had been discarded like a mistake? It wasn't just Finn that stung, Steffi Forrester had made it abundantly clear that Luna wasn't welcome in their world. The powerful, fiercely protective matriarch had labeled Luna a threat, unstable and unwelcome. And Luna couldn't entirely blame her. After all, it hadn't been long since Luna's first act of desperation, kidnapping. She had taken that first fateful step into darkness when she lured a child away in a moment of madness, believing that if she could just show them how much she cared, they'd see her differently. They'd see her as family. Instead, they saw a criminal. And though she was spared legal punishment, the emotional sentence had been harsh and lifelong. Finn's rejection hadn't just shut her out, it had broken something inside her. The rejection repeated itself again on her most recent visit. She stood in her father's house, trembling, eyes wide with hope, only to hear the same cold phrases again: "You are not part of this family. You need to leave." The pain was sharper this time. More final. Finn's voice was unwavering. He had chosen his path, and it didn't include her. But as Luna turned to leave, defeated and humiliated, her eyes caught sight of Hayes. The little boy toddled into the room, bright-eyed and smiling, his tiny arms thrown around Finn's neck. The affection was effortless. The joy, unearned. Hayes had everything she had ever wanted, and he didn't even know it. That was when something inside her shifted. A darkness rose to the surface, undeniable and unrelenting. If Finn wouldn't give her a place in his heart willingly, if Steffi insisted on painting her as a threat, maybe it was time to become the villain they all feared. At first, the thought seemed too extreme. Luna told herself she would never hurt a child. She wasn't a monster. But the idea of taking Hayes, not to harm him, but to prove something, began to grow. It wasn't about the boy. It was about what he represented, the life she had been denied, the love she had begged for. In her mind, Hayes wasn't a child, he was the key to turning the tables. If she took him, if she made Finn and Steffi feel the panic, the desperation, the loss, then maybe they would finally understand. Maybe Finn would realize what he had done to her. Maybe he would finally feel regret. She began watching the house more closely. It wasn't hard, security was laughable, and she already knew all the access points. Steffi, despite her protectiveness, hadn't changed much since the last time Luna had broken in. And Hayes, innocent and trusting, would follow anyone who smiled and knew his name. The plan began forming in fragments, small steps that became more concrete with every sleepless night. She started leaving toys outside their gate, hidden in bushes. She watched from afar, noting when the nanny took Hayes out for a walk, when the house was empty, when the rhythm of the Forrester home beat quietly without interference. Luna's own world became muted. Her job, her friendships, her dreams, none of it mattered anymore. The obsession consumed her. It wasn't about reunion anymore, it was about revenge, justice, symmetry. If she couldn't have a father, then Finn didn't deserve to have his son, not until he faced the consequences of abandoning her. There was one final trigger. It came in the form of a family photo Steffi posted on social media: Finn, Steffi, Kelly, and Hayes on a beach, laughing, carefree. The caption read, "Nothing more important than family." The irony nearly drove Luna into hysterics. She printed the photo and taped it to her mirror. Every day she looked at it. Every day her resolve hardened. Then came the day she struck. The house was quiet, the nanny distracted by a phone call on the back porch. Luna slipped in, silent as a shadow. Hayes was in the playroom, humming to himself, his toys scattered around him. He didn't see her at first. She hesitated at the door, heart pounding, fear warring with fury. But then Hayes looked up and smiled. "Hi," he said, not recognizing her, but not afraid either. Luna stepped closer. "Hi, Hayes. Do you want to go on an adventure?" she whispered, her voice trembling. The boy nodded, rising to his feet. He was trusting. Innocent. Oblivious. Luna took his hand, and together they slipped out the side door. It wasn't until 20 minutes later that the nanny realized he was gone. Panic erupted in the Forrester household. Steffi's scream could be heard by neighbors. Finn tore through the house, his medical calm gone in the wake of paternal terror. The police were called, helicopters deployed, search parties organized. But there was no sign of Luna or Hayes. She had vanished. Days passed. Then a week. And with every hour, the fear grew. Luna, meanwhile, was hidden in a secluded cabin in the mountains. She had brought food, toys, books. She wasn't cruel to Hayes. In fact, she treated him with care, with a tenderness that surprised even herself. But it wasn't love, it was desperation, a diluted sense of justice. She talked to him like a sister, told him stories about a girl who had been left behind, about how she just wanted someone to see her. Hayes didn't understand. He missed his parents. He cried at night. And each tear chipped away at Luna's resolve. As the days wore on, the pressure mounted. The media caught on. Heir's son abducted by secret sister, screamed headlines. The police dug deeper into Luna's past, unearthing her history, her previous instability. Steffi gave a public plea through tears: "Please, just bring him home. He's just a baby. You don't have to do this." But Luna didn't budge. She wasn't ready. Not yet. She needed Finn to understand. She needed him to feel. She watched his press conference on her phone, saw the lines on his face, the torment in his eyes. It was satisfying at first. But then something shifted. For the first time, Luna saw the pain, not just in Steffi, but in Finn. Real pain. Raw, human pain. And it cracked something in her. Maybe she had gone too far. One night, Hayes looked at her and asked, "When do I go home?" And Luna, unable to lie, simply said, "Soon." That night, she made a decision. She packed a small bag, dressed Hayes warmly, and drove through the night. Just before dawn, she left him in a safe place, outside the hospital where Finn worked, with a note pinned to his jacket, "He's safe. I'm sorry." And then she vanished. Again. The fallout was immediate. Hayes was returned safely, and while traumatized, he was unharmed. Finn and Steffi collapsed into relief and held their son tighter than ever. But the damage was done. Luna was now a fugitive. Her face plastered across the news. Steffi pressed charges. Finn was silent. The betrayal cut too deep. For Luna, her moment of reckoning had come. Alone, hiding, the weight of her choices bore down on her. She had wanted love, family, belonging. Instead, she had become what they feared, a danger. And maybe, deep down, she had always known it would end this way. But this is a soap opera, and in the world of the bold and the beautiful, no story is ever truly over. Whispers started to circulate. Had Luna left the country? Was she being protected by someone in the shadows? A stranger spotted a woman matching her description boarding a ferry in Canada. Another claimed to have seen her volunteering at a shelter under a new name. And then, a shocking twist, Steffi received an anonymous envelope in the mail. Inside, a locket with a photo of Finn and Luna, doctored to look like a happy family. A message scribbled on the back, "You can't erase me." So, is Luna gone for good? Or is she biding her time, waiting for the next moment to strike? Hayes is back home, safe, for now. But the scars remain. And Luna, broken but not destroyed, still lurks in the corners of their lives, a reminder that love denied can turn into obsession, and that the past, no matter how deeply buried, always finds a way to resurface.